All right. So whoever has questions can ask now. So let's know what to do.
Okay, Tyler, I have a question.
All right. Go on.
Okay, let's say for example now you check on the higher time frame, you're not able to spot any directional bias. But
Yes.
when you go to like let's say the 5 minutes, you can see where price is reacting
Yes.
from.
Okay.
But still on that 5 minutes, you see another SBI in that same direction. Can it be considered as A plus?
Okay. Okay. Now let me break something down to you. This is there's not normal setups we know, which is basically the A plus setups on the higher time frame, right? Which is basically the sweep, break inducements. Please, are you guys with me, please?
Yes.
Okay, so I want this to be a very interactive session, okay? Let us join heads together and let's ask questions and let's know how we can tackle this, okay? Now, this is the higher time frame, right? This is, as I said in the last session, I don't know if you guys watched the last session I had. It's not really having much of this, right? We're not really having much of this on the higher time frame. Where price, does something like this on the higher time frame. So obviously, once price comes to your PY, what do you expect? You expect price to do what? To tap your PY, then expand to the upside, right? So now, in this range on the lower time frame, it can be your 5 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm going to be looking for SBIs to take out this high. Okay. But now, these days, what we've noticed is that we are not having much of these higher time frame setups, right? So now, what have I been doing? As I explained last time, I've really been focused on the lower time frame. Now, not saying I don't trade the higher time frame, but I've not really seen setups of the higher time frame to trade, right? So now what do I do these days? Is I trade based on what lower time frame entries. And now I told you guys last time that lower time frame can be identified by what market trend, right? We have a bullish market trend and a bearish market trend. Okay, so hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Is you guys hear me clearly?
Yes.
Everyone hear me clearly? Okay. Okay. Now back to your question, right? On the on the market, we have what higher time frame. So now I want to make this an analogical class, right? This is a downtrend. This is an uptrend. Sorry, market making series of what higher highs, higher lows. Market making series of what higher highs, higher lows, right? Higher highs. So I'm going somewhere. Please pay attention. Making series of higher highs, higher lows, right? Right. And for a bearish market, we have market making series of what lower lows, right? Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, right? So now, if you look at this current market that we are on right now, you can see that what's market overall structure, right? The overall structure of the market right now, if you zoom back in price, right? This is the 5 minutes time frame. You can see that what market is making series of what lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, right? And you can see that this is what's clearly a downtrend market, right? So now the best and easiest possible thing to do is what to look for sales. And now, if you're looking for sales in this kind of market, you're going to be looking for what confirmation entries, right? Because this is not A plus, right? Now, A plus setup is, let's say, for instance, right? You have this on the 4-hour time frame, right? You have this on the 4-hour time frame. Now, let me go down to the 4-hour time frame for to explain this thing better. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so now this is recorded, so you guys can watch this after. I'll send this as well. Okay, so now where is this? I think it was on V10S. I think it was on V10S. I want everyone to pay attention. Now, what you see right here, this is the 4-hour time frame. Okay, and here on the 4-hour time frame, you have what a market sweep this low. You see it swept this low, broke the structure, right? Then created what a type 1. Right now, why is this a type 1 setup? Because of what it is liquidity created what after the break of structure, right? So market created this liquidity, right, and broke this high again. Now what do you have here? You have what two breaks of structures, right? Meaning that this is a type 1 setup. So what the market do? Market came back on the 4-hour time frame, swept out this guy. Okay. Now remember what I said, market doesn't need to tap your PY before is activated, right? As long as market shifts this, it can decide to what move to the external dependency, right? Please, are you following, please?
Yes.
Right? So this thing is basically what I explained before, but I'm still going to explain it again, right? So now this range right here on the higher time frame. Now this is the range that what you should be looking for what those buy SBI setups, right? Now this is your buy SBI setups. Now, what you need to understand is that sorry, this thing is having a switch. I don't know what's for me. But this is your buy setups, right? So now what you need to understand is that any trade taken here is what you call an A plus entry. So now this kind of setup you can take please mute your mic, please. Mute your mic, please. Who is that? Mute your mic, please. Who is this? Yeah. Okay. Now once markets this low, right? What do you expect to happen here? You expect to have an expansion to the upside. Okay, please, everyone follow, please. I don't know who is this that is making this noise. All right, I've muted the person. Now, you expect what price to buy from here to this high. Now, on the lower time frame, anything that you take in this range, right? That's why I marked out to the box. Anything that's taken from this range to this range is what you have what an A plus setup. Now, this kind of setups can be taken with what confirmation entries. Now, if you clearly watch this price, you can see that what price is bullish. I didn't come and put something like this here, right? I didn't put, let's say, for instance, price swept, let's say price was here and swept this high, right? And market created what the structural liquidity here. I didn't come and put this and say, okay, now since market has taken out the structural liquidity, then I'm expecting expansion to this low. This is nonsense. Why is it nonsense? Because of what? You can see that the market trend what is bullish, right? We can see that what we have what another what sweep of this low, break of market structure. And what we see right here on the 4-hour time frame, boom, another one again. So this is what another range again to trade to this high. Can you see this? This is another range. So that means now from this point down here to this point right here, you have what another zone to trade for A plus setups, right? You can see another one here again. Sweep, structural liquidity, another zone. Now we still have another zone right here. You can see you have what. How far? Okay, please, are you following? Is everyone following, please?
Yes.
All right. Now we have what a sweep of this low, we have a break of market structure, and we have what a type 2 setup here, right? This is on the 4-hour time frame. I'm just trying to break this down for you guys, right? So now we can see that we have another possible opportunity, right, for what A plus. So now you can see that on the 4-hour time frame, we have seen about 3 A plus entries to trade on the lower time frame, right? You can see all these ranges that are marking out, all these ranges here, from this here to this place. You can see as well, we have a sweep, break of market structure, another structural liquidity here. So from this range to this high here. So now you understand that what I did not come and draw something like this here. Look at now. Let's say for instance, there's a sweep here and it's a break of market structure and there's structural liquidity. I will not come and put something like this and say, okay, price has taken out this side. That means price will take out this way. That's nonsense. Number one, why is it bad to do that? We can see that what we are clearly what in an uptrend. We are clearly in an uptrend. So making a sell SPI here doesn't make sense. Secondly, we are currently in a trading range. Now, what you need to understand about a trading range is that once the trading range is created, it has to be completed. So meaning that after price took out this structural liquidity, after all these patterns here, the sell, the buy, the sell, whatever, it still has to what take out this guy here, right? So I said, before you trade, you do your top-down analysis. Now, we can see something like this on the 4-hour time frame. So now what do you do that on the lower time frame? You go down to, let's say, let me use the 15 minutes for instance. Now, this is for A plus setup, right? This is for A plus setups. Now, you can see that what we have market creating those structures on the lower time frame. Now, let's clear all this out. Let's clear this out. So this is how you do your analysis step by step, right? Step by step analysis, okay? I'm trying to look for something that's very visible for a buy entry, right? For us on V10S index, okay? So now I can see an entry here. I can see a trade here. Now, if I delete this, right, let me delete this, right? So remember that for this range, any high that I marked out the line is the external liquidity. Mean that's what this is the external liquidity of this range. Okay. Now, for instance, you were on the 15 minutes now. I'm using the 15 minutes as an example, right? That's why I said once you have established an A plus setup, it doesn't matter, it can be 15, it can be 30 minutes, whatever, right? So now what I see right here is I can see what I can see the sweep of this low. This is a structural low, right? So for anything to be a low, it has to have a high, right? I can see a sweep of this low, right? So what the price do after it swept this low, it came out to do what to sweep this high. Please, are you following, please? It came out to this high, and after that, what did it do? Came out, pick out the structural liquidity here, and this is the type 2 structural liquidity here. Now, for A plus setups always have a high win rate, okay? A very high win rate because of what? It is following what? The market trend or the market analysis, whatever, right? So you can use your point of interest or your PMR for your entry. Now, what do you have? You have what? You can decide to even hold this trade, right? You can decide to hold this trade towards the external liquidity of the 4-hour time frame. So this is the ERL of the 4-hour time frame here. Okay, so now this is one trade. Now remember I said you don't even need to trade, you don't need to trade 10 trades, 5 trades, whatever. One good setup is all you need. You can see how beautiful the delivery happened on this, right? And even if you go down to the 5 minutes, if you go down to the 5 minutes time frame, you still be able to spot what those tiny entries on the 5 minutes, right? In all these zones here, you'll be able to spot some buy entries here. Because I said time frame does not really matter, to be honest, right? It doesn't really matter, right? So let's even go lower this range and let's see if we can get any other setup. You see. So now, okay, what do you see right here? We have a sweep of this low, right? We have this. This is an entry for you, right? This is a buy entry here. So you can see that it's just something that requires an analogy, right? You need to take your time to study this thing and only trade what works, right? For instance, you have an entry, only trade that entry. Now, going back to your question, right? Let me go to V10S, V10 index. Let me go to the 5 minutes time frame, right? So now going back to that question you asked, right? Now, these days there's not been much A plus setups, right? And I think I explained this in the previous. I can't remember when I explained this, but I know I explained this recently. These days I've not really been trading A plus because I've not been seeing A plus. What I've been trading is what I've been trading with market trend, right? I'm trading on the lower time frame based on market trend. Meaning that if the market is bullish, I look for bullish SBI entries with confirmation. Okay. Now let me remove this drawing, right? Remove everything, right? So now we can see up here, what do you see? We can see that we have what? What are we clearly on? Are we in a downtrend or an uptrend?
Downtrend.
Yes, downtrend. Yes. When you clear downtrend, okay? When you clear down, when you clear downtrend, right? So what do we see right here? We can see that from this high, right? Did you sweep this high? Yes, we have a sweep of this high here, right? We have a sweep of this high here. This high still broke this structure here, right? After the break of this structure, what did market do? Market came to do what? Take out the structural liquidity here. Okay. So after the market took out the structural liquidity, what am I going to be looking for? I'm going to be looking for a confirmation for a sell. And the confirmation I'm going to be looking for is a bearish engulfing candle confirmation, right? You can see that after price gave us here, we had this strong bearish engulfing confirmation. Now, someone like me now, once I see this strong confirmation, I'm going to take this trade here. Stop loss should always be above the market structure, the protected high. This is a protected high. Why? Because it's protected by what? This structural liquidity. Now, after I've gotten my confirmation, then I look to take the trade. Now, this is a trade for me to take to this low, because this is the external liquidity of the LTF, right? This is the external liquidity of the LTF. Now, still on this same trend, you can see that market is claiming a downtrend. So what are you going to be looking for? You're going to be looking for what? More bearish entries. Now, this is a sweep of liquidity, right? Remember I said a structural liquidity sweat is also a sweep, right? So this is a new sweep, right? This is a new break of structure here. Okay, any break of structure. So what do we have here? Please, are you guys following, please?
Yes.
So this is another new trade for us again, right? Another sell entry. Now, what am I going to be looking for? What I'm going to be looking for my confirmation in my POI, right? Or after price has swept liquidity. Okay. So now let's see what happens. So remember what? So anytime you're taking trade confirmation, always put your stop loss above the protected highs. People make that mistake all the time by putting their stop loss below or in the wrong position, right? So now I'm still going to be looking for my confirmation, right? So now have I got a bearish engulfing confirmation? Once price taps into my POI, this is the 5 minutes time frame, right? I had this weak rejection. Then this should have been my confirmation here. Once I saw this huge bearish confirmation here, then my stop loss should be what? Above what? The protected high. Now let's look at for the protected high. This is the protected high here, right? This is where the sweep happens. So this is the protected high here. My stop loss should be above this high, right? Boom. Then what am I going to look for? To take this sell back down towards the ERL. So this is the current trade that is playing out right now. It's the current trade that's playing out right now. So I was busy, so I didn't catch this trade, but this is what is currently happening right now on V10, right? So this is about to take out this low, right? For a sell entry again. We can see that I took two sell entries with confirmation entries on the lower time frame on a downtrend, right? I'm not going to be looking for something like this now. Some people still make this mistake. This is just simple logic, right? There's no two ways about it. You see a sweep, you see a structure, you see market is selling. Why would someone be looking for a buy SBI here? Doesn't make sense, right? You need to identify what the overall structure. You need to identify the overall structure. Understand? All right. So before I proceed, any questions? Let me know.
Okay. There's something I noticed. Most time I do see inflow setup and higher tension. But once I see the setup and higher tension, go down to lower tension. Some of the NPI and lower tension doesn't hold. Notice that movement doesn't hold. And again, I want you to give us other influences to entries on the lower tension. If for instance price tap into the other block. Then we should go down to lower time frame to look for other information.
Sorry, please. Say what you said again. I don't understand what you said. Say it again.
Okay, I said there's something I noticed recently on the higher time frame. If I have my directional bias on the higher time frame, then going down to lower time frame to look for my entry, to look for any SBI. I would check most of the time the SBI I get in lower time frame when I already established my directional bias doesn't hold.
Well, I would say it's
again,
okay.
Yeah, so over time it has happened like that. I've known a lot of accounts, it has happened like that. Yeah, I'm even sure that yes, this is an inflow setup. So another thing again is if there's anything you can like explain to us in the way that once price happen into the other block, is there any time frame maybe like 1 minute where we can go to check other things like a
No,
confirmation?
I
So
don't go lower.
probably price might be coming back
I
to
don't,
50%.
I don't go lower. I don't go lower. It's 5 minutes I use. Just a bearish or a bullish confirmation. That's all I use. I don't use anything. Like I just showed you with these two trades right now, right? These two trades right now. This was the structural increase that was set, and I need for what? Bearish engulfing. Yeah, right? So the bearish engulfing formation I got here. Okay. So now I'll come back to that question. I'll come back to the question. Another question. Let me see. Is asking. Morris, you can ask your question. Morris.
So, hello.
Yeah,
Hello, can you hear me?
you can hear.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so please, you said before we get directional bias on the higher time frame, we should look at the trend first. If it's a downtrend, then we'll look for um a downtrend SBI.
Yes.
Okay. Now, please, sorry, this V10 you just pulled up.
Yeah.
If I don't see like a structure on the higher time frame, you said I can come to the lower time frame, look at the trend,
Yes.
look for SBIs and look for confirmation.
Yes. This
Okay,
was just
so
this
please,
was happening.
okay, go
Market
on,
is bearish.
please.
We have a bearish market here. You can see market is selling. Okay. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for a bearish market SPI. And we've established that already with these two trades here. So before I even continue, right? It's still the same thing that I still trade, right? It's still the same sweep, break, right? And inducements, right? This is the basic thing that I do. Okay, I want you to understand. This is the basic thing I do, right? It can either be type 1. Are you guys hearing clearly? Are you hearing clearly?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
All right. So it can either be type 1 or it can be type 1 or type 2, right? Type 1 or type 2 setups. This is what I basically look for. Now, if I pull up another chart, let me pull up a random chart now. Let me use V15S or V20. Let me use V25S. Okay. Let me look for something that just ought to play out now. Now, what we see right here, right? You see, as you pull up this chart on this, you can see that what market is clearly what currently is bearish. Can you see this? Right? Market is currently in a bearish trend. Why? Because market is making shows of higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right? You see that. So what are you going to look for? You want to look for what? A buy SBI, right? An entry only on confirmation. No confirmation wants no entry. Okay, no confirmation no entry. Now I can't see a clear buy entry here. I'm not really seeing any buy SBI right now. Right, I'm not seeing buy SBI. Okay, so that means I'll go to another chart. Right, and I said the only way you do this if you don't see anything in the higher time frame. Okay, if you don't see anything in the higher time frame, like look at this guy for instance. Now look at this. Can you see this for instance? What I mean, we are bullish. Okay, you can see that we're in the bullish market trend. Now, what I guess we're looking for is what a bullish SBI, right? You can see what happened here. We had what? Okay, this is not, I don't think I would have taken this trade. Please, can someone tell me why I would have not taken this trade? Can someone tell me why I would have not taken this trade? Huh?
That's it, fam.
Please, finish your mic, please. Okay, now, I would have not taken this trade because of what? This is a sweep, right? You can see that the structural liquidity is what? Below the sweep. right? So this is invalid. It's an invalid trade for me. Even if this trade still smashed take profit, but it's invalid. I still see some people posting or taking this kind of things. This doesn't make sense at all. Can you see this doesn't make sense? You have a sweep, right? But the sweep, the structural liquidity is below the sweep. So this is invalid. Even if this thing played out, please avoid trade like this. Avoid trades like this, right? You had a sweep, right? This may not even break structure. The sweep of this low, and this was the overall break, right? This is not break structure at all, right? And second thing is that this this is above the structural liquidity, which makes it what an invalid trade. So these are things that can help you. You should always spot these things out before any trade happens. So now we are currently bearish. What am I going to be looking for? I'm still going to be looking for what? So let's say, for instance, now I see something like this, right? Right here. Market comes to sweep this low, right? Give me something like this. Give me something like this. Give me something like this. Please hold on. Give me something like this, right? So now I have what a type 2 setup, right? Where's my entry? Can be on the Quasimodo, the QMR, right? Or you can use what the other block. It doesn't matter, right? So something like this now. So once price does something like this, what am I going to be looking for? For price to do something like this, to come down, give me what a confirmation. Now that confirmation should only what bearish engulfing candle, right? Or two strong bullish candles, right? So once I see something like that, I've gotten my confirmation, right? What do I mean by two strong candles? I mean bear and bullish candles, right? Straight up, right? So what do I do after I get my confirmation or bullish engulfing? So after my confirmation is gotten, what do I do? Place my entry, stop loss below point of entry, below the protected low, because this is what a buy setup, right? This is the social liquidity protecting this this low, right? So stop loss below the low, not here, not here, below this guy here. Okay. Yeah. Please mind the noise, please. Somewhere I'm not at home. Okay. So this is what I'm looking for, right? Every single day, this is what I do. I don't do any other thing, right? Every single day. Now let's open V90S. You can see that the setup is okay. Okay, it hasn't played out yet. Now since the setup played out, right? Someone will see something like this and say, okay, this is what happened. That price took out this, right? So now let me buy. You buying from this place has shown that you don't really know anything about trading. Why is this invalid? Because you had a sweep of this low, you had a break, right? So now this is your type 1, right? Before your type 1 is created, after it pulls back into the range, it has to what? Break this high again, right? That is two breaks of structure, right? So you can see that this high has not been broken yet. So this is just who is this now? Who is this? Please mute your who is this? Who is this? Okay.
Please mute
Now
yourself now. Dana, please mute them. You can also mute them.
this guy. Now now this has not broken this high. Okay. So it means that this is invalid. Someone will see something like this and say, okay, price has come back to take out this, right? Then take something like this, then price buys a little bit. Then what does price do after he buys? He takes out a stop loss home, right? Now, what should we wait to happen? We should wait for what? Price to do what? Take out this high. Once price takes out this high, then what am I going to do? Then this is going to be my what? Structural liquidity here. This point here, right? Because if you look at it at the end of the day, you're looking for your V shapes. Okay, this is just you're just going to draw it like this. Boom. Right? So this is the last low here. So this is your structural liquidity here. After price takes out this high, then your point of interest here. So what am I going to look for? I'm going to look for a confirmation once price pulls into my zone or once price takes out structural liquidity, right? With the market trend. Are you following? Please, are you people following? Are you following? Very, very important. This is very, 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 very important. Okay. Now, let's go to another one. Now, let me do a top-down analysis. Yeah, let's see what happens. So this is what I do before I enter. Let's see the 24 hours. So from 24 hours, you can see there's nothing on 24 hours. Very fast. I can't really see anything right now. Let's go to the 4 hour time frame. So after you finish your analysis on the higher time frame, if you don't spot anything valid, then you can go to your lower time frame trade. Right? So now, as I said, people that trade the lower time frame, you have to have not you just have to have a good understanding of the market and not full capital, but you have to actually have good understanding, because if you don't have capital and trading the lower time frame without the knowledge, it doesn't make sense. Okay, so now I think I'll do a separate class on psychology or something about trading and risk management, but that will be soon. Okay, so this is 4 hours, nothing on the 4 hour time frame, very clear. There's nothing on the 4 hour time frame to see. There's no structure valid, right? So now let's go down to the 15. It's right, even though I mostly trade the 5 minutes time frame, right? Okay, so what do you see right here is what do you see right here? Mm, Let's go to the 5 minutes time frame. These are always trade the 5 minutes, right? You can see that what market has moved from what a bearish market structure. I won't say this is bearish because market was consolidating, right? But market current structure right now is bullish, right? You can see market making consecutive higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, right? What the price do? You had a sweep of this low, right? This is a sweep of this low. Okay. So after the sweep of this low, we had the what overall break of structure here, right? So now what do I mean by the overall break of structure, right? What do I mean by this, right? So now we had this low break, we had this, right? Sweep this low, right? So this is the highest point after the sweep, right? Because this please can you hear me, please? Please can you hear me? Everyone, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Right? We had the sweep of this low and we had what an overall break of structure. Now, what do I mean by this? Now, once you have something like this, market making a high, then a low, right? After this low is made, for a low to become a low, it has to what? For a low to be a valid low, it has to what? Have a new high. So now, what does that high have to be? The high has to what? Break the structure, right? This high has to break what? The previous higher high for this to be considered what? A valid low, right? So now we have this, right? For instance, we have this high, a new structure, then we have this low, then we have something like this, then we have this inner break of structure. Now, for this inner break of structure to be considered a valid low, right? We have to what? Have a what? A break of what? The overall high. And this is the overall high here, right? So what do you see? Price created this sweep, then boom, So you have something like this as the low here. So whatever price wants to do in future, even though price comes down to create structural liquidity, whatever, this is what's going to happen. So please, are you following? Are you guys following, please?
Yes.
Hence what happened
Yeah.
right now. Hence what happened here. This is sweep. This structural liquidity here. PMR entry here. Expansion here. To this side. Right? With confirmation, please, with confirmation. What am I going to be looking for? Bullish engulfing. Right? So once price came to this POI, very quickly, you can spot, look at this bullish engulfing here. This is going to be my entry. Look at this. Right? Stop loss below here. Okay. Take profits here. It's all about looking for what confirmation and looking for what market trend. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So let's look at the 90s. I don't know if I've checked the 90s, right? So this is what I do. Now I take losses as well, but I try and make sure that my win rates, my risk to reward is always high. So look at what happened. Look at what happened here. You can see what something happened. Now let's remove this 10 drops here. You can see that's what we have the overall rate of market structure here. Okay. We had what sweep of this low here, structural liquidity here. So this is a possible setup on V90s. So what will happen is if price comes back, I'll look for a confirmation to take this trade. You can see what we have what bullish market structure. Market is currently bullish. So what am I looking for? Buy SBI. So now you can see that we have our type 1 structure established, right? Price pull back here, broke this high again. So what am I waiting to happen? Something like this, confirmation yourself. Okay, just like that. Every single day is the same thing over and over and over, right? Just sticking to the basic concepts, right? So if the session ends, please send a question, or I'll try and host a session after because I'm not at home, so I'll try and see if I can host.